Hey guys, here's a bit of Danish theory for you. This is actually chapter number 32 in my public Danish Gambit study, which out of 53 chapters, so there's a lot of lines to cover there. But this is just one particular one because I had an opponent who was rated 1475 in Rapid, know a really good defense. So this is like a standard refutation line. Well, it's an equalization line for black. But my opponent knew it up to the critical point and then was able to convert the game and win with the black pieces. And we don't want that. So that led me back to my study. And we're going to look at the classic Schlechter refutation, okay, with the Schlechter defense. Okay, so let me take you through it. So the Danish Gambit, center game accepted, Danish Gambit offered, Danish Gambit accepted, and the full Danish option and accepted, and bishop takes. Now my opponent's playing quite quickly here. He's 2 pawns up, but in compo I've got bishops of doom. Okay, now he plays the critical move d5 and I think, well, that's a free pawn, and now I'm kind of out of theory, right, because I've not played the Danish in a while. He brings out the knight, and now we see that we have this classic pattern. We have bishop takes f7, and if the king takes, you've got queen takes queen. But wait, it doesn't end there. Now, let me show you. This is the classic refutation, and this is the way that the game went. Okay, there, takes, and you're thinking, haha, free queen, I win. And black says, oh no, you don't. Hold your horses, Sonny Jim. Bishop b4 check with a discovered attack on the queen. Now, if you do this as white, and I did know this far, the move is you bring the queen back to block, so they take, you take, and it's actually 0-0-0, all kind of dull. We'll probably get castle quickly. In the end, my opponent was able to force his pawns through and played very well. Okay, now let's go back to the start. The Danish, the full Danish, the Schlechter, right? We take the pawn, that's fine. Knight comes out here, and now, so what I did was I went back to the book at the 1800-2011 on Lee chess and looked for, well, what actually works, because bishop takes f7 here, by far the most common move, it's very, very tempting at my level, wins 48% of the time for black, only 45 for white. So in real world test, does slightly better for black. We don't want that. So then I looked around, well, what else is there? And there's a couple of moves. There's this weird looking knight e2, which may merit some exploration, but that's only been played 200 times. And it's 52-43 for white. But even better than that is knight c3. So what we are doing, you will notice, is we are delaying this idea of capturing there, right? So let's say black just does something silly now, okay? Now we just win, okay? They take there, we take with check. If they capture, bang, and oh, right? They bring the bishop out. Yes, our queen's under fire, but it doesn't really matter because we can just retreat the queen to a safe distance and we win the game, right? So that's not playable, right? So they've got to do something, okay? So here, bishop b4 is played. And I haven't really looked down that line yet, but let's have a quick shufti at bishop b4. Bishop b4, okay, we have queen a4 check, wins the bishop. If the knight comes out, no, knight blocks isn't playable. The only move is c6 with a counterattack on our bishop, at which point we can happily do this. King has to take, we win this, and we're good. Okay, so let's go back a bit. And this is for any budding Danish players out there, okay? So we take, they come out, we play knight c3. We don't capture on f7 immediately. The most common move is this. They take. Now, you got to know what to do. You take the knight. And the computer here, it says, well, white, what are you playing at? Because as a computer, you can clearly see this is worse. But we're not playing computers, hopefully, most of the time. So there you go. Now, what is the most common move by a country mile by white? It's this, pawn to c6 played 54% of the time, right? But this is a mistake. because now it goes from negative 1.6 to plus 1.3. So white is now better. Why is white better? Right? Pause and find it if you can. The next move is really somewhat of a stunner. Knight to f6 check. Notice, okay, we've got check. Now, the queen can't take the knight because the bishop's looking down there, right? One of our evil bishops, our remaining evil bishop of doom, is there to save the day, okay? King moves here. King moves here. This is just curtains, because then you've got bishop a3, okay? And really, there's nothing for it other than the king to take here or push the pawn forward, right? If king takes here, we simply win the queen. Thank you very much. And that's our game, okay? So they're not going to do that. So they're not going to be, well, king e7 has been played 318 times, and white has won nearly all of them. Queen takes f6 has been played only 45 times, and white wins most of the time. But the most common move is g takes. Now, we've completely buggered up their pawns there on the king side. And now, what you have to do as white is you have to trade queens. Trade queens, force the king to move, and if you notice and count on both hands, we're actually down a minor piece here, but white is slightly better. Why? Because we now have bang with a fork on the king and the rook, okay? And we are simply better. King c7 will be played, we'll win the rook, and we can still develop and castle, and black is going to have a right job getting his junk out into the game. So there you go. So I thought that was an important one to study, because I feel like if I go back to the Danish, which I'm really enjoying, it. I'm enjoying it more than the Vienna, sorry to say, because you get these sharp, deadly, evil positions, and that's what I like. So I feel like I'm going to see this Schlechter a bit more, and I feel like my opponents are going to know, they're going to have memorized the standard old Refutation line, but they're not really going to know what to do if you interrupt it with the knight development. So for all you Danish enthusiasts out there, hope that's useful. Thanks for watching. I'll see you later.